What do you think of Super Smash Bros. World of Light? While I think that the representation and the quick battles are peak Smash, others find it a long, tedious experience and a step back from the cinematic experience of Subspace Emissary. Whatever you believe, World of Light is the accumulation of 2 decades worth of experimentation and improvement. Super Smash Bros. Always tries to top itself. Just look at one of Melee's defining features, Adventure Mode. Adventure Mode took Super Smash Bros. From a basic beat-em-up party game and turned it into, well, an adventure. While the sections between proper fights are fairly simple, the attention to detail is so much fun, such as the Mushroom Kingdom in the background of the first level. Adventure Mode was a chance for Sakurai and team to play around with the different fun scenarios that Smash Bros. Can create. It's a fun mode that you can blow through in about a half an hour or less and has way more personality than the standard classic mode, but minus a few hidden triggers. If you've played through it as one character, you've played through it with all. Melee's Adventure Mode is really just a dressed up classic mode. It was perfect for its time and I really appreciate the effort, but I want something with a little more variety, which Brawl definitely delivers. Subspace Emissary moves away from that more quick arcade-style adventure and replaces it with a narrative that I assume was the first draft of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Subspace's gameplay includes platforming mixed with simple battles, classic Smash Bros. Arena fights, and the first inclusion of boss battles. And what's cool is that instead of just choosing one character to overcome it, the game restricts your character choices to what's relevant to the story. This forces players to use a wider variety of fighters. Subspace Emissary is wildly ambitious, and I'm not sure if it pays off. Did Sakurai and team just put too much effort into the story? While the Subspace Emissary cutscenes have no right to be as good as they are, I'm still crying over Rob. The gameplay suffered for it. The platforming sections are more tedious than fun. They're pretty simple, but you may slip up now and again, and the level backgrounds are so generic that they're actually boring. At its core, Smash Bros. Is a fighting game. Trying to build a platforming experience out of that means you just have to neuter the platforming elements. Most of the time, I'm just running right until I'm stopped for a forced fight. A forced fight featuring some of the most generic enemies ever to be rendered. Seriously, I've seen more creative enemies in licensed games from the 90s.
Ah! Lobsters!
This is Super Smash Bros., where icons from across games get together to brawl. And this is the best they could come up with? Yay. At least Brawl gave us boss fights. This misjudgment of priorities made Subspace Emissary a pretty okay experience overall. But after an epic story like that, the next iteration has to be even bigger, better, more engaging than ever. Oh yeah, it's Smash 4's event mode. It could be the lackluster Wii U tainting the experience, but Smash 4's take on the event mode never really sat right with me. It lacked the creativity and risk-taking of the last 2 adventure mode types. Probably my biggest pet peeve is that gray background on the map screen because it creates such a dull, sterile environment. And the game doesn't even try as hard to give context to each battle. There's no rhyme or reason to the fights. Each event has some lame blurb meant to set up the scenario, but each one is so generic with barely any true connection to the fighter's games. Did they design the event first and then try to come up with this scenario after the fact? Oh, let's have Jigglypuff put Ness, Toon Link, and Bowser Jr. to sleep. Diddy fights a bunch of DKs wearing the bunny hood, or let's just have Peach fight Bowser. How could Smash Bros. Go from a 45-minute narrative where the fighters are perfectly personified without speaking a single line of dialogue? Well, almost without speaking.
Kept you waiting, huh?
To this. So I guess that's it. Maybe Smash Bros. Isn't meant to have a fulfilling single-player mode for loners like me. Maybe it's just cursed to be a party game. Or is it? A new Nintendo console means a new Smash Bros. And for Smash Ultimate, Sakurai had one mantra. Everyone is here. Sakurai finally realized that at its heart, Super Smash Bros. Is a celebration of gaming. He wanted all aspects of Smash Ultimate to live up to that mantra, the characters, stages, and especially the adventure mode World of Light. Sakurai and team integrated gaming history into World of Light through the use of spirits. The combat possibilities are endless because the fighters get possessed by spirits across over 50 years of gaming history. And with over 600 spirit battles on the board, even the most obscure characters get a chance to shine in the spotlight. Each and every spirit battle just oozes love, dedication, and an attention to detail unrivaled in any other Smash game. But some people view the spirit battles as a boring rehash of Event Smash. And I see where they're coming from. Spirit battles are just regular fights with weird rule sets or special win conditions. Basically an exact clone of Smash 4's Event Smash. But what makes them so much more special is how they dress them up. Just like how Melee's Adventure Mode revolutionized Classic Mode, World of Light does the same thing to event matches by embracing video game history. Take the Snorlax Spirit Battle, which features a giant King K rule that does absolutely nothing except regenerate HP while you try to DPS it down. By changing K rule's color, making the stage Totemir's Island, and playing the Pokemon Red and Blue theme, you can really trick yourself into thinking that you're fighting a Snorlax in World of Light. With 70 fighters, 100 stages, and hundreds of songs, coupled with specific item sets or rules, Sakurai and team had so many resources to recreate iconic video game scenes and characters from across the decades. Some of my favorites include Hal Emmerich from the Metal Gear Solid series. Hal is the shy genius who helped create Metal Gear Rex, so you have to defeat a Dr. Mario who avoids conflict while a Metal Rob hunts you down. Buzz, the tiny intergalactic being that sends Ness on his quest only to be smacked down in a single hit. It's a tiny Game & Watch in the one-hit KO range. And there are hundreds of other fantastic spirit battles. You're not going to get every reference, but you'll be playing and see a green Donkey Kong with a screw attack and a stamina battle and think, yep, that's Blanca. And you can't have over 600 spirit battles without a huge map, and World of Light has a huge map. And best of all, Sakurai and team didn't waste any space. The map is filled to the brim with gorgeous scenery that brings the map to life. There's little details that pay homage to different game series like the Raceway for Captain Falcon, the Pac-Man maze, and the jungle for some of our Rareware friends. And I cannot get over how simple yet complex the map is. For the most part, each region is pretty linear minus a few forks in the road here and there, making getting around pretty simple. But just the sheer size of the map alone will leave you confused if you want to just get to one specific area. To make the map more interactive, some spirits are required to overcome specific obstacles. Certain paths will be blocked off until you find a certain type of spirit, like needing Slippy or Rob 64 to pilot Star Fox's Great Fox. This system is well executed because it's not so in your face that you find yourself blocked at every turn, but it's used enough not to be an awkward one-off gimmick. World of Light's map is so big, just the bottom left quadrant alone would have been an enjoyable experience. But Sakurai wanted to go all out. Although, sometimes going all out backfires because some of World of Light's features are a little over the top, like those RPG mechanics where you can boost your base stats or other abilities. It's kind of a bummer that we're not expected to beat this mode without boosted stats. But I have to remember that Smash Bros is supposed to be for everyone, so the younger, more casual players may need this help. There's that convoluted spirit summoning mechanic where you dismiss certain spirits to unlock others. Then you need orbs that match its type. I don't know, it's needlessly complicated for a mechanic that's really only used in World of Light. But World of Light's biggest criticism is its slow pace, mostly due to the low times and Rochambeau aspect of the spirits. Because each type of spirit counters the other, players are constantly switching their loadout if they want the advantage. And I swear Sakurai purposely laid out the fighters so that you fight red, then blue, then green, over and over again so you always have to switch. And God help you if you want to constantly switch fighters. You know what? I'ma stick with Kirby. It's hard to argue against people who say that World of Light is a boring gameplay loop that goes on into infinity. And the critics might be right. World of Light is an incredibly grindy experience that sometimes feels long for the sake of being long. Just walking up to a fighter then choosing your character and loadout takes longer than the spirit fight itself. Rinse and repeat for over 600 fights and you might just go insane. Even if the majority of the fights aren't that hard, World of Light just goes on and on and on and on and on. It quickly gets overwhelming. So that's it. World of Light isn't worth the investment. It's just a long, tedious mode that shouldn't exist. I mean, traditionally, Super Smash Bros. Game modes are supposed to be quick arcade styles that can be beaten in a single sitting. Sakurai tried, but he just fell short of his goal. Or did he? Super Smash Bros. Constant evolution makes it so special, and a lot of the best changes were risky. How many game series just released title after title with only minor tweaks? Super Smash Bros. Needed to evolve in order to jive with the Switch's pick up and play anytime, anywhere philosophy. The Switch forced many first-party Nintendo games with established gameplay mechanics to step outside of their comfort zones in order to create newer, richer experiences, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate followed suit. Yes, World of Light seems like a monstrous, tedious experience if you have a completionist mindset, but just like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, World of Light has more content than Sakurai ever expected players to complete. And its size is its strength. Every other Smash game has a, let's face it, disappointing single-player mode. They're usually too short or lack variation across playthroughs, but World of Light suffers from neither of these issues. You're not beating World of Light in a single sitting. You're not even going to complete a fifth of it. But thanks to the Switch's design, jumping back into the game is easy to do. Whether it's the next day, a week or two, heck, sometimes I'll even knock out a few fights on a file I started a year ago, because why not? Some people are going to think that it's a step back from Subspace Emissary because of the lack of cutscenes, but I'm glad we have more actual smashing gameplay in World of Light. We are probably not going to get another Subspace Emissary. Well, who knows now that the Mario movie grossed over $1 billion. But World of Light does so much more with less. With just a fraction of the cutscenes, they set up the story perfectly. It's not a deep narrative where the robots make me want to cry, no, but it's on par with other Nintendo stories.
Mario!
Objection! Overruled.
Plus, one of the multiple endings might be one of the darkest in Nintendo history, right up there with the moon-crushing Termina. World of Light isn't perfect, but it embodies the Super Smash Bros. Spirit.